This is me, feeling lost, walking through this absolute nothingness, feeling so small, so insignificant, totally overwhelmed by nature. But wait, how did I reach here? Let's rewind this a bit. Let's go. Welcome to the land of ice and fire. My name is Ajay, and over the course of 11 days, I'll be traveling solo across Iceland. I'll be driving over 1700 kilometers on the Iceland Ring Road that circles this magical island. There'll be waterfalls, there'll be rainbows, there'll be waterfalls with rainbows. I'll be hiking volcanoes, glaciers, and otherworldly landscapes. The journey will take me through mountain passes, the majestic fjords, and onto the deadly black sand beaches. We'll explore mountains, relax on the geothermal pools, and marvel at the many picturesque fishing villages and towns. And through it all, I'll try my best to stay alive and not get lost or frozen. So come join me on this road trip of a lifetime. This is Iceland like you've never seen before. Hi everyone, welcome to a new day here in Iceland. I spent the last night in Selfoss, and now it's time to continue the journey along the ring road. But first, I need to refuel my car and get some breakfast. This is the oldest gas station, and most gas stations have a small restaurant and a cafe attached to them, like this one here. In Iceland, finding food is a challenge. As soon as you leave the towns and cities, you don't have many options along the road because most places are remote and you won't find many humans around. But there are gas stations along the way where you can recharge. There are two major gas companies here, N1 and Olis. And if you need to freshen up or eat something or grab a cup of coffee or take a break, then these gas stations come in very handy. I have left Selfoss and my stop for the night is going to be Vik in the south of Iceland. It's a comparatively short drive today, about 130 kilometers. But there are a lot of spots along the way, which will take up a lot of time. There are two famous waterfalls along the way, and then there is a plain wreck site. There are other spots as well, like the Deer Hollow viewpoint, and there is also a natural hot spring along the way. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to see those spots given the time constraint, and I need to reach Vik before it gets dark. I'm officially on the ring road, and this is my planned route for the next few days for this Iceland road trip. The weather is good, the sun is out, and I'm hoping it stays this way. The waterfall at a distance? Well, that's our first attraction of the day.
In 500 meters, turn left. In 800 meters, turn right.
This is Seljalandsfoss. Just look how beautiful this thing is. White of the snow perfectly matches the white of the waterfall. What makes this waterfall special, apart from being just beautiful, is the fact that you can actually walk behind the waterfall. And I'm gonna do that now. But it's extremely slippery and wet, and there's ice on the pathways. I need to be very careful, and there is a wind blowing, carrying all the water towards me. That was quite an experience, and I did get drenched in the water. So if you plan to do what I just did, be prepared to get wet or carry a raincoat. There is something about river streams and small bridges that makes me so happy. In this direction there are two more waterfalls, and more importantly there is the sun. I'm shivering at the moment because of the waterfall experience and I need to be in the sun. Check out that cute little stream that looks like a pipe burst. And then I saw a big bird colony in the hills. I'm not sure which birds are these, but this looks like a big nesting ground for these birds. Okay, it's time to go. On the way, I found this nice little cafe called the Faxi Bakery. But before we go inside, look at this mountain. Behind this mountain is an active volcano called... Sorry, I can't pronounce the name. I'll just put the name on the screen. Let's just call it Volcano E. In the April of 2010, the volcano erupted, sending ash plumes up to a height of 9 kilometers into the atmosphere. The families in the surrounding villages had to be evacuated, but it had much bigger repercussions. The fine ash carried by strong winds caused massive disruption to air travel across Europe, grounding over 100,000 flights and affecting nearly 10 million travelers. Around 300 airports across 20 countries in Europe were affected. As you can see, the cafe has also put up the pictures of the eruption. You know, the locals here seemed so chill about volcanic eruptions as if it's no big deal. I didn't know the significance of this place before stopping here. I stopped here because I was hungry and the place looked cool. At this moment, I'm just in awe with this scenery. I'm hungry and I need to eat somewhere that is not a gas station restaurant. Let's go inside. It was a nice cafe, and like every place in Iceland, I wanted to stay here longer. But I need to keep moving as there is a lot of ground to cover. Now, as you can see, the scenery has completely changed. I see a lot of green compared to earlier today and yesterday, where the landscape was all white with snow. As you keep driving, you will see these small villages and cute little houses along the way. The next stop is Skogafoss, and that will be our third major waterfall since yesterday. Gullfoss, Seljalandsfoss, and now Skogafoss. By now you must have understood that foss means waterfall. Iceland has over 10,000 waterfalls. That is because there are quite a few mountains and glaciers here. Because Iceland is so rich in water resources, almost 70% of country's electricity comes from hydropower. Now we are about to see one of the best waterfalls in Iceland. We are at the Skogafoss Waterfall, and I can see a rainbow even from this distance. Everyone is trying to find a perfect spot to take a picture, but the perfect spot is across the river stream. What I'm doing right now, I don't recommend anyone doing this. This is glacial water which is extremely cold, and my shoes got totally drenched and I need to change my shoes quickly, otherwise I'm gonna get a frostbite. The special thing about this waterfall is the rainbow. If the sun is out, there's going to be a rainbow. Now there's a hiking trail that leads to the top of the waterfall, and I'm gonna hike up wearing my wet shoes.
We're gonna go in that and
Just look at this view. This is just picture perfect. That guy right there has found the perfect spot. He found the best spot, but he's still checking his phone. Damn, Iceland is so incredible. Okay, let's move to our next spot. I changed my shoes and I was back behind the wheel. Fortunately, I was carrying a change of shoes. Now the next spot is only about 10 kilometers, but there is a problem. To reach to that spot, you need to walk almost 3.5 kilometers from the parking. I don't mind walking, it's just that I need to reach to it before it gets dark.
In 800 meters, you will arrive at your destination.
Okay, so I'm walking towards this place called Solheimasandur, and there is a wreckage of a plane that crashed there in 1973. And yes, it is 3.5 kilometers one way. So back and forth, it will be 7 kilometers. There's a bus service, but it's costly, and by the time I reached here, the bus service was closed. And where is the fun in taking the bus? But I got this feeling while walking through this absolute nothingness. Feeling of being so small and insignificant in this vast expanse. Feeling of how tiny my existence is when compared to the scale of nature. Nature can truly overwhelm you. Yes, this is the famous plane wreck of the abandoned DC-3 airplane. It was a cargo plane and it belonged to the US Navy, and it crashed here in the November of 1973. There were 5 people on the plane and fortunately everyone survived the crash. It is so quiet here. There are a few people here, but it all still seems so quiet. Only sound I hear is that of the drone, which actually sounds like a mosquito. Fun fact, there are no mosquitoes in Iceland. Climbing on the plane is now prohibited, but I did see people climbing on top of it. The beach is not very far from here, but I don't have the time for the beach. More than anything, walking here was a deeply spiritual experience. I mean, just look at this place. I experienced a beautiful sunset, and it was another 3.5 kilometer walk back to the parking. And by the time I reached the parking, it was already dark.
Head southeast toward Route 222.
Vik is about 23 kilometers from here, where I'll be spending the night, and I should be there in about 30 minutes. And as soon as I reach Vik, I need to find a place for dinner because hunger is killing me. I have kept protein bars with me for times like these, and I had one before starting the drive back. But I really need a proper hot meal. It is a bit scary though, driving here in the dark. It was an incredible day. Things were a bit rushed, but I hope you enjoyed exploring this leg of Iceland with me. I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode where I will continue my journey from Vik to Hof. Thanks for watching. Good night.